Okay, now that we've done the first one, and I'm trying not to sound so Darth Vader-ish on this one, but what we're going to do now is, now that we have this set up, we're going to code the comments. Well, we're going to code the whole thing. So what we're going to do is we need to get into the design. So you can do that by double-clicking on any of the items here. So we're going to double-click. And what that'll do is that gets you into that into the code, and it also creates your first sub procedure. Now you can see here that I accidentally have a sub procedure that's not used. Whenever you have one of these, you need to get rid of it by clicking on the private sub and deleting all the way down to end sub. Then you can just delete. Make sure that you delete the whole thing. Never, never, never touch public class. Never, never, never touch end class. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to code our document, we're going to code our comments. So we're going to start with, we're going to go on up to the top, and we're going to put our information. So of course you start that with a little apostrophe, and we're going to name the program, and this is called, and I'm going to give it a little space so I can line them all up, digital downloads. Okay, and a little thing, and we're going to call it author, and then you're going to put your name, and then we're going to put the date, and then you can put the date, and this is today is 10/5/2013. Of course, depending on what term you're in, this may be later or will be later. Okay, then next we're going to put a little apostrophe here, and we're going to do our purpose. And our purpose is going to be this application, sorry, I've got wrist guards on and it's hurting, calculates and displays, and then you can go down to the next line if you want. It does in the book. The total cost of music downloads. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to use this line here. Option, strict, okay, and there it is right there, strict, and we want it to be on. Now what that does is that prevents implicit data conversion. So what we do is when you use, for instance, okay, so we have two different data types. Say we have an int and we have a double. A double has more precision than an int. So implicitly it'll cast to the lowest one. So implicitly means without you saying to do it. By putting the option strict on, what that does is it does not allow those implicit casts. It only allows explicit casts, which means that you have to tell the program, okay, it's all right to change this double to an int or something like that. So, so that's what that option strict on does. It just prevents implicit casts of data types. Okay, so then we're going to go down and we're going to do another comment here, and we're going to put cost per download. And this is used in multiple procedures. Now notice that we're doing this inside the class, but we're doing it outside any of the sub procedures. Now the reason we're doing that is because we use it in multiple procedures. That gives it a broader scope. If we put it inside the sub procedure, it can't be seen by any of the other sub procedures. So we put it outside so that it can be used in more than one place. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a constant, and we're going to call it, and then that underscore there, that underscore is just the predecessor for our constant. You don't need it, but it's just a standard that's practiced. So CDEC price per download. Now what we're doing here is we're doing as, so we're specifying what data type it's going to be. It's going to be a decimal. And then here we're specifying the price for each download. So we're going to make this 0.99, and then the D is for decimal. So if the price per download changes, this is where you change it, and you can change it only in this one place is where you have to change it, which is why we're using this constant, so that we only have to change it in one place. If you have to redefine that 99 cents every time you do a download, then what happens is, or every time that you use it, then you might forget one, and that would be bad. Okay, so we, in order to get into the code here, we did this this calculate button. So we can just go down here into the sub procedure, and we're going to put our comments. So this event handler is executed when the user clicks the button, and you can see in the directions that it gives more detailed instructions, but I'm just going to leave it at that so that I don't have to you don't have to sit here and watch me type forever. Okay, now what we're doing is we're going to initialize the variables that are used in this particular sub procedure. So these can only be seen by this sub procedure. So we have dim, which it stands for dimension, str number of songs as string. Okay, so that's a string. Then we do dim int number of songs. Oh, I put a semicolon. I'm so used to coding in Java, I put a semicolon automatically. Nope, this is wrong. Dim int number of songs. So what happens is, the reason that we have and we're doing that as an integer, and then dim decimal total cost of downloads, and I'm going to explain some of this here in just a second, as decimal. And I keep wanting to put that semicolon after that. It's really freaking me out. Okay, now the next thing that we want to do is we want to get the number of downloads. So the user is going to put the number of downloads into the little box. What we have to do is we have to get that information out, and we have to assign it to a variable so we can use it. So we're going to do string number of songs. Okay, so this is a string. Everything in a text box is always a string. Even if they put a 5, it's still a string. It's always, always, always a string. So, so we're going to put string number of songs equals, and then we have to get it out of that text box. So the text box was named text number of downloads, and there it is right there. It's always good to choose from the pop down, because then you know you're not going to make a mistake. Okay, so if you can, and you can also select it and then click whatever the next thing is. So an enter, I'll show you that in a second. So we do int number of songs, and there it is. Now watch this. Okay, so my next key that I'm going to press after I type number of songs is a space, right? So I can just press that space and it automatically pops up, so you don't have to do that scroll down thing and everything. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to convert that text to a number, because like if I add together a 5 and a 5 and they're both text, then what happens is the 5 and the 5, it becomes 55 because I'm adding them together as text. So I have to change these into a integer so that I can use them. Okay, so I'm going to convert dot, and I'm going to do it to int. So we're telling it what we want to do it to. We're doing it to an int 32, which means it's a 32-bit integer, and then we're going to do this right here. The string number of songs is what we're converting. Okay, so string number of songs. All right, so then the next thing that we need to do, so what we did here is we collected, this is the text box where the user puts the information, and this just says that it's a text string that we're collecting. We're putting it into a string. Then this is where we convert to the number of songs. Okay, so after we've made the conversion, we need to actually calculate. You can't calculate with the string, which is why we converted it to the int. So now we have, we're going to use the decimal total cost of downloads. So this is where we're assigning it. So this is the variable where we're going to hold the answer. So total number of downloads is the number of songs, okay, times, and then we're going to use that constant up there. Oops, that didn't work. The reason that didn't work is because that is also the way that you move to a next line. So if you want to extend the line, if you want to carry the line over to the next line, use an underscore and then press enter. So I pressed the enter too soon in order to get that to go in there. All right, so now we've got the total cost of downloads is right here, downloads. Oh, I spelled it wrong. See, now this is why you always use what's in there, because see, I spelled total cost of downloads wrong, and it put the right one in, so that way you don't get an error because it can't find something because you spelled something wrong. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to put this that we found here, we need to put this into that label that we created for the output. So that is label total cost, not total cost label, because that was the label that names it. So it's label total cost dot text. So what we're saying is put it in the text property. So we're changing the text property. And what we're going to do is we're taking that decimal total cost of downloads, and we're going to cast it into a string. So this is an explicit cast. So we're making it into a string, and then we have this means we're formatting it as currency. Okay, so that formats it as currency. Okay, so now we're just going to test it and see how it works. Okay, so now of course we haven't done those other two buttons, so that's not a problem, because all we're doing is we're calculating here. Okay, so the number of downloads, what we want to do is we want to say, like, say 3 downloads. So then we want to calculate the cost is $297. So that works. Now notice that my XXX per download is wrong up here, and then we had that 888 down here. So we need to fix that. Okay, see, that's why you test, because you need to find out where you did something wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my my downloads here, and I'm just going to delete this 888 because I don't want that to show up when people put something in there. Okay, so I'm just going to take that out. Okay, now the reason that it shows up with the XXX per download is because I didn't write the code for the form load event handler. So to get there, you can just double click on the form. It's going to do the form downloads underscore load. So that means when the form loads, it's going to do something. So here we're going to I'm just going to put this is executed when the form loads. And again, it's more extensive in the assignment, so you just kind of have to look at that and see what it is. So we're going to do label cost heading. Okay, so that's the label. If you remember up top, we're going to change the text property, and we're going to make it say we're going to do this dot toString because it's an what was it, an integer? No, it's not an integer. It's a decimal. Okay, so it's a decimal, so we have to put it toString again. toString, and we're going to do the currency. Okay, and then we're going to do this ampersand. What that does is it concatenates strings, puts strings together, and we're going to do a quote space per download. Now, what that quote does is that quote makes it so that exactly what's inside these quotations is what's going to go there. Okay. So then we're going to do label total cost dot text equals, and then we're just going to blank it out. So actually what I did there wasn't necessary. And then we're going to do text number of downloads dot focus. Now what that does, what the dot focus does, is it puts the focus of the form into that box so that the first place the user can type is in that box. So we can run this again just to make sure that it works okay. So see, now it comes up, we see the 99 cents per download, we don't see the total cost of downloads, and we can do, say, 8, we're going to calculate cost, and it comes to $7.92, which is correct. Now notice that the clear and the exit buttons still don't work because we have not coded those yet. So that's the next thing that we're going to do. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to write the code for the exit button. So we're going to go in here, And we're going to do exit. And the exit, as you probably know, we'll do a little comment here, close the window, and just like all the others, we're going to do close. And that is all you have to do for that one. Okay, so now that one's going to close. Now we're going to write for the clear button. So we're going to go back into here. We're going to clear it. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this event handler clears the form objects. And you can put what's in the book if you want. So we're going to change text number of downloads dot clear. Okay, so we're clearing that. So we're clearing the box with the number of downloads. We're clearing the total cost, because if they already have a cost in there, we want to get rid of it. And we're going to just make that blank. Oops, we need to do label total cost dot text, because that's the text property that we're changing. Don't ever forget to put the property, because that'll be an error. And then we want to focus back on the number of downloads. So we're going to do the text box number of downloads dot focus. Okay, now we're going to run the form again. We're going to test it and see if it works. Okay, so it shows up okay. We don't have a number here. We have the 99 cents per download here. I'm going to put in my number of downloads. I'm going to say 3, calculate cost. Okay, that's correct. I'm going to clear. See, it resets my focus here. It clears this text box. And then I can try it again just to see what happens. And then I'm going to test my exit button, see if it works. And if it all works, that's it. You're done. Good job.